And we're live.
On today's episode of Utility Players Podcast, today is April 4th, Saturday. We start off with a little challenge update and see how Connor did on his putting grapes in his mouth. We then follow with some segments. We do I Beg to Differ, and steroid users in the Hall of Fame is our I Beg to Differ today. We play the name game where we rank the greatest Pauls in sports, and also do a ranking segment where we pick the top 3 worst number 1 overall picks in any sport. We do a mock draft with the biggest wide receivers, divas in the NFL. We do a Remember One where we go back in time and relive some of the greatest sports moments to us. We do a shit show of the day. Connor's got another good story on hand. And we do a debate, which we'll leave the topic for later. And we'll conclude with some closing statements and a challenge for Easton this time. What's going on, guys? Episode 3 of the Utility Players Podcast. I'm your host, C Zipper. Another day inside, another day in quarantine, and another day of – it feels like we're living out the movie Groundhog's Day at this point. I don't know about you guys. But let's say hello to the fellows. Nick, Feeks, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. My sister bowled a 300 today on Wii Bowling.
Okay. Let's talk share the emotions in the room as that went down, because that's probably the greatest feat in like our sports world right now.
I was really into it. I was pumped. I was amped. She bowled the 300. She didn't really seem to care. There was one pin that thought about not going down, but he had to go down. Like, there's just no choice at that point.
In the last round?
No, it was in like the 8th frame. Tensions was running high. She was tweaking.
What did you bowl in this game?
236, and I lost by 64 pins.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
236 is like a good score still also.
My all-time high score is 276. First 300 at this on this TV. PBA Tour, they give you $10,000 for a perfect game.
Really?
I gave her a high five.
And the other voice you're hearing is our third and final member of the gang. Easton, how are you doing in quarantine?
Not bad. Almost finished Tiger King, so kind of taking it by day, but it is what it is.
Did you finish Ozark?
I did. I decided to not take that day by day, and I finished it all within 3 or 4 hours.
3 or 4 hours.
Or the rest I had remaining, not all of it.
Okay, I was gonna say it's like 10 hours of episodes.
Yeah,
you watched it double speed.
It took about 4 days.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back into it. I started season 2 because I had finished season 1 a couple months ago. Tried to start season 2 the other night, and it's going slow but steady. They're too long, and the episodes only good stuff happens is that the first 15 and the last 15 minutes, and the in between 30 are kind of slow.
Yeah, I mean the beginning of the seasons are also slower than the ends, so it'll start to pick up around episode 4 or 5.
And I also I don't know.
Season 2 is kind of slow, but it sets up a lot for season 3.
Okay, all right, then I'll stick with it because I do want to see it through the end or finish the 3 seasons, because I've heard all these comparisons to Breaking Bad, and now I've watched Breaking Bad, so I really want to finish Ozark and say that I can have a complete resume to compare the two.
Yeah, I restarted Breaking Bad yesterday also. After watching Ozark, I kind of felt like I needed to fill that hole.
that drug void.
Yep, that money laundering drug.
Yeah. All right. So the challenge update was me. I didn't get any content on it, but I did try and put
You just did it for fun in the bathroom against the mirror. Oh, you're doing great, Connor.
No, my sister watched, so I had someone watching while I did it.
What did she think?
14 grapes.
You had a witness.
Which
was she
I thought
bullying
was
you?
Impressive.
The over-under was, 14 and a half?
Yeah, so I was the under.
I was the under.
Hate to see it.
Easton was the over.
We'll get a punishment for you going on later. I know you love your punishment.
Oh, yeah.
You ever run the 2 miles?
No. Kind of never shotgunned his
Your
bang
nicest
either.
day of the –
I don't leave the house. How am I going to go get a bang when I don't leave the house?
Yeah, you idiot.
I don't leave the house.
Easton can go run and get you one.
Yeah. Run all the way to my house. Well, first you got to get a bang.
That's 6 miles.
Back. Yeah, that's going.
That's a journey. Like the Oregon Trail.
You would probably be arrested by a cop and get a social distancing ticket. It would be that long.
Minus
Cops
one.
are buzzing out there right now.
There was a cop out front of our house today.
I walked through the woods today and I saw two. Well, granted, there's a police station right in that neighborhood, but I saw 3 cops driving around.
Are you walking in the woods? Like you didn't leave your
I do that
house.
all the time. What?
Like you didn't leave your house.
Well, you gotta leave. I mean, leave the house isn't drive off somewhere far. Do something. They go for walks. That's still allowed. What are you looking at?
All right, let's get into it.
What are you looking
I
at?
beg to differ.
Yeah, you had one right.
Yeah, today is I beg to differ is MLB should allow steroid users in the Hall of Fame. So I want to what are your opinions on that take?
I agree. They're the best players in the sport at their time. They deserve to be in. I don't care how you do it. If you don't get busted, like Barry Bonds never got busted, put him in.
Easton?
I agree and disagree. I mean, as they are the best players, I mean, technically it is cheating.
My take on it is why I think it is obviously playing baseball for most of my life. You guys both played baseball. You actually have to be have the skill to hit a hard fastball coming in, being able to hit a curveball takes skill. And just because you were bigger and stronger doesn't take away from the fact that you had the physical the skills of baseball that were superior to other people. Maybe doubles turned into home runs, but you were still a better baseball player skill wise than the people you were playing with, and that makes you a Hall of Famer in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's not like there's people who bat ninth in the lineup. I guarantee you at least 5 of them are on steroids, bottom of the lineup hitters. If you're a number 3 hitter and you're on steroids, you're a number 9 hitter and you're on steroids. Same playing field.
Oh yeah,
Everyone should be on steroids.
all the guys in the minor leagues are doing it anyways.
Yeah. You we only talk about the people that get the big names that do it get caught, but what about the guy that's doing it to he's been a 4-year AAA, AA, bounce around minor league player, good numbers and everything, but he needs that one little push to get to the majors and get that contract and provide for his family. No one talks about that, and they deem that okay to a certain extent and morally acceptable when the guy who is just a better baseball player does it and becomes an even better baseball player, that's somehow immoral and unjust to the game or unfair to the game, which I'm not saying it's not. It's you overall, I think you shouldn't be doing it, but
it's less of a matter of who does and who doesn't do it, more so than who does do it and who gets caught doing it.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of them do it. It's just who gets caught. It's a morals thing too.
yeah.
It's you don't get busted and why not, but it just comes down to your ethics with it.
It's only cheating till you get caught.
Dallas Braden says to make that decision you have to think of a couple of things. A, can you handle what your teammates and what everyone else is going to say if you get caught? B, can you look your kids in the eye and say, I did this for you? Or would you feel that you're a cheater and wouldn't be able to look in the eye and talk to them about it? And C, are you doing this for a financial gain? What is the financial gain you're trying to get? And does that overcome the social stigma and suspension that you could be taking from it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of this is just baseball. I feel like all sports and jobs in general, you can cheat your way through things. It's just about if you get caught doing it or not, where you get in trouble. Politicians that bribe people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel I'd say steroid
ethics.
use is probably the biggest in football and baseball, and then probably slim to none in hockey. And I feel like there's not a lot in basketball either.
I think you'd be surprised.
Sports, just different steroids.
Yeah, those two hockey and basketball are much more long cardio based. It's more of a slimmer, leaner frame. So,
yeah, it's more.
You don't associate that with steroids because you associate a leaner frame with just being in good physical conditioning, not a big jack guy like a baseball or a football player that's big and you don't associate that look in basketball and hockey with steroids the same way you do. A big power hitter in baseball or a football player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
They're
Who's
different.
tapping on their computer?
No one.
I think you're imagining stuff there, big guy.
No, I was hearing it too, but
Yeah.
go on.
No, that was it. Like that, there's different types of drugs and like they do different things, but in the end, I think everyone's like taking it, and it should be up to the player. Like if you get caught, you should be suspended, like for a long time, for a year. You should be given a pay decrease, but if you do, you should have the choice. Like you do have the choice. You have the choice to do anything.
If you're gonna let them in, though, you gotta let in Pete Rose. Because Pete Rose, all he did was bet on sports when he was retired. Like,
Oh, I think Pete Rose should be in. Like no matter what, I think they both should be in.
me too.
Okay, so we can agree on that. But I would say that's a relatively hot take, and that's why it was my ad back to for today.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do name game. So today's name game, we're gonna name. Well, we'll each pick two, and give me your greatest pause in sports. We'll go like snake as we usually do. So Nick, you can start.
All right, I'm going with a bit of an odd one because I heard Paul, and it was the first thing that popped in my head, but his first name's not Paul. Chris Paul.
Okay, acceptable.
I like the way you change that up.
Yeah, it's creative.
Yeah, no,
First overall pick,
yeah.
too.
Acceptable.
I was going to save it for the second round to kind of add a twist, but I didn't want him to be taken.
A lot of like doing research for this, a lot more basketball than me.
Yeah, which brings me to mine, Paul Pierce.
That was one of mine.
Yep, arguably probably one of the top 5 Celtics of all time.
Yeah. 19-year NBA career, part of the big three, KG, Ray Allen.
Yeah, back when they dominated them in the Lakers.
Only one NBA championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Finals
feel like that's
MVP.
a no-brainer.
Yeah. Over average 20 points a game in his 1,300 career game. I had 3, so I guess I could switch. My first one to not go basketball trend, I'll go Paul Coffey.
That was my second one.
Kind of before our time. 9 NHL teams, played a 21-year career, 1,400 regular season games, which is insane. Averaged over a point a game with 1,500 points. He's a defenseman. Retired in 2001 after 21 years. Has the most goals by a defenseman and is obviously in the Hall of Fame. I think you could put on a top 25 hockey players of all time easily, maybe even a top 10 defenseman of all time. First Paul in hockey that comes up for anything. So if you're the first Paul in your sport, you deserve to be on an all Paul list. So that's my first one.
It's a lot of research. It's like a presentation you gave us.
Yeah, I'm
That's
trying to
pretty good.
present to you why I think that Paul Coffey is an all-time Paul.
Who's my
This is the
second
all
one?
Paul list.
I just went with Paul Pierce because I thought he would be said first.
Well, my next one I only wrote down 3, and already 2 of them are gone. So
I only
I
wrote
got
down
third.
2, and I went with one. You guys, I don't know this guy. Paul Pogba.
Yeah. He used to play for Juve. Who's he play for now?
Wasn't he at Man U or someone?
Yeah. Man U or Man City? I think it's Man City. Could be wrong.
Google
that's
him.
soccer, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
I've never heard of him.
Good recognition.
Sorry, I'm not a soccer.
Man
I could give you
You're right.
I could give you names. I could give you names of like guys that have played. I just can't give you. There's too many leagues and
Pogba won a World Cup. He's pretty good at Man U. I don't know if he's great, but
No, he's pretty good. He's
basketball
really
players. I
good.
thought I'd go a little outside the box. Go to BFE.
All right.
all
Since
Paul list though. Does that belong on an all Paul list, or is it just an out of the box?
I'd say he's probably. I mean,
Well, I know who you guys are gonna say. I'm not a Paul George fan.
Okay. That's
I don't-
a sec.
I was gonna say I don't know like soccer that well, but like he's like a pretty like common name for
Yeah.
soccer.
I didn't like Paul George, and I feel like he was gonna be said, so I wanted.
I
to
was
get that
gonna.
one
I
out.
was gonna. Since my other 2 were taken, I was gonna say Paul George because I mean he's probably not an all Paul list, but he's still top. I don't know.
Top 10
He's one
player
of
in the NBA right now.
yeah, exactly. Him and Kawhi.
Not a Paul George guy.
He was my third one. 6-time All-Star, easily maybe top 12, maybe top 12. Who would you put above him in the NBA? LeBron, AD,
Giannis.
Kawhi on his team.
Harden.
Giannis, Harden,
Kawhi.
Curry.
AD, KD.
I said
Klay Thompson.
AD, KD, Kyrie,
Clay.
I wouldn't put Clay ahead of him.
Yeah, I don't know about Clay.
Oh, this can be a debate for next time.
I'm putting him at like 9 or 10.
Here's one. Would you put Harden above him?
Yeah, I said Harden.
What
That was a
about
dumb one.
Well, yeah, I'd obviously put Westbrook above him.
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
No.
Westbrook
man
sucks too.
He averaged
I
a
think
triple-double for a whole season.
Yeah,
besides the triple-double season where he stole rebounds from people.
He blew a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference Finals.
Exactly. Nothing to note of that man's career. He's a cancer wherever he goes. He's not a winning player.
Harden hasn't
Why
won
Paul
anything.
George left?
Harden doesn't want anything either. He's also a cancer.
Harden's won more than Westbrook has, arguably.
They both won nothing.
Well, they're together, so.
Except for what's it?
And they're fighting for the playoffs.
MVPs. They're fighting
Connor,
for season at this point.
Who's your second round pick, Connor? This is a debate for next time.
Mine was Paul George as well.
Want to hear an honorable mention that no one thought of? It just popped in my head. Old Paul Konerko.
That was what I was gonna say too. That was
He used to mash against the Tigers.
That was the one where, like, if I had to, like, I figured I'd be safe with 3 just in case someone said one of them. But now that I wish, like, I would put Paul, like, if you had to go sport for sport and, like, pick one from every sport, I would say Paul Konerko is probably the baseballs.
I feel like Paul was a weird name. I honestly couldn't think of very many Pauls without Googling.
No, that's why I tried to do it. Is trying, like, I don't know.
Stretch your mind. Should have done next time we're going to do Mike's.
Done a more common name and make, like, a starting 5 or starting 9 of, like, a super common name. And that way you have to, like dig in a little more.
Next time we're doing Michaels and we're coming up with a starting lineup of nine players in a baseball field. We're all coming up with our own 9. It'll be a little special.
Okay.
I'll try.
All right.
Easton's going to have like 3 players and just don't hit the ball to the left side of the field.
Mike Trout.
Doesn't have to be baseball. It can be any sport. Mike Jordan.
Oh, you said baseball, really so I figured.
Yeah, we're gonna have a baseball starting 9.
Yeah.
Oh, I figured you would like literally meant baseball, but oh yeah, we're good.
No, just 9 people. That is what he meant.
Yeah.
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 So kind of our rank. I mean, let's do rankings now. Rankings is kind of relatively the same, but we'll go like give me all 3 at one time so I know like your like top 3. So today's is top 3 worst number 1 overall picks of all time, any sport. So Easton, you can start.
I'm gonna start off with Jamarcus Russell.
Okay.
To the Oakland Raiders. I mean,
Correct.
he barely played, right? Didn't really pan out to what he's supposed to be. And then second, I'm gonna go with Kwame Brown to the Wizards. The whole Michael Jordan when he was president for a little bit, and that just never worked out. Yeah, kind of ruined his career. And then lastly, that's kind of off the board, not of all time, but I'm gonna go with Markelle Fultz. Never really played for the Sixers. Got the yip. Never really worked out. I mean, he's starting to get back a little bit, but nowhere near first overall caliber.
That one I would give it some time before I put it in the worst, like one of the worst.
He's a bust for the team that drafted him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to see what you guys would say about that too.
My number 1 was Jamarcus Russell as well. 2007 Raiders. He only played 3 years, 52% completion rate. Went 21-4 at LSU and signed for $61 million out of the draft. And obviously throwing 23 interceptions to 18 touchdowns in 3 years is pretty freaking bad. So he's my
worse
number 1.
Winston.
What?
I said it's worse than Famous Jameis.
Yeah, I know, but at least Famous Jameis can win a couple games and last longer than 3 years before TB12 kicked him out of town. My number 2, I found this one on the dark web, and I thought this was hilarious. Except for this guy. That sucks to be this guy. Matt Bush, 2004, the Padres. He was a high school kid that they signed for $3.5 million in 2004 after getting picked number 1 overall. Weeks after getting that bonus, he got busted for trespassing and underage drinking misdemeanors that suspended him for the whole first year of his pro career. He hit 187 in a year and a half of AA and got more drinking misdemeanors and got injured and was riddled with injury and essentially never amounted to more than a AA off the bench guy. I just thought that's it's not funny, but that's kind of like
played in MLB.
I'm Matt Bush and I'm listening to this podcast, I'm turning it off and going for.
He did play in the MLB.
That's what I mean. He's a bad AA player.
No, he was a pitcher. He made the MLB a couple years ago as a pitcher.
Oh, did he? Did he switch positions?
Yeah, he came back from jail and went and played, and his dad and a sponsor traveled with him to every game and make sure he stayed clean. I actually did some research because he was on my list, but
wow.
Go on.
I would still say okay.
It was 97 as a lefty.
List. I would say he should still be on the list just because he was drafted to be a hitter.
Yeah.
Okay. My number 3 was Greg Oden, 2007 Portland.
Yeah.
Kind of doing research on Greg Oden, the only thing you see is that he was taken ahead of Kevin Durant.
Yeah. It's a tough way to go.
Player, arguably the best player of his generation, Kevin Durant. Greg Oden sat out his entire rookie season due to an injury before being out long-term less than a year later.
He was like Joel Embiid.
Another injury. He basically spent 7 years in the NBA, kind of loop. He wasn't on a roster for all 7 of those years, but was in the loop, NBA free agent / player, I guess you could say, but only played 105 games and averaged 7.5 points a game in 105 games, which for a number 1 pick is terrible. Not to mention he let the snake out basically by Kevin Durant, being the best player of that draft.
I really, although he wasn't a first overall pick, I really want to put Darko Milicic just for the fact, well, one, he was 2nd overall, but drafted above Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and Melo.
Yeah. And he's Detroit, which.
Yeah, he might have. Dude, if LeBron wasn't in that draft and the Pistons had the first pick, he might have gone first overall.
Maybe.
It's a lot of ifs.
That's true.
I was 4 years old in 2003, so I couldn't tell you what was going through the mind.
He still has a championship ring, though.
He does. 2004 Pistons. Damn right he does.
All right, I'm going to say mine now. I went with a little bit different of criteria. So my first number 1 bust, I went with Josh Hamilton.
Really?
First overall pick out of high school to Tampa Bay, and then made it to A+ ball and was out of baseball for 4 years with his drug problem. I thought that was kind of you take someone first overall, and then he just disappears off the face of the earth.
For the Rays, that's a bust, yeah.
Yeah, and he ended up winning MVP, but even you just had those demons that are stuck around with them. Next, I'm going to go with Anthony Bennett for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
Played about 1 year in the NBA and was gone.
Yeah,
and then
pretty bad one.
Finally, I'm going to go – so I had some written down. I'm going to go a little bit off the board here. I'm going to go Rick DiPietro.
Really?
Dude, take a goalie first overall. Give him a 15-year, $65 million contract.
They're still paying him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're still paying him money to be out of the league, and he was probably a bottom 5 goalie in the league that entire time.
He was good his first few seasons.
Yeah, he was hurt, and then he had a big year, got a big contract, and he went back to being terrible.
Yeah, and then they're going to be paying him, I think, for 5 more years or something like that.
Okay, from a contract standpoint, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, but he sucked. What did he do besides that? He was terrible.
I wouldn't put him as a worst first overall pick. I'd put him under worst contracts.
With stats.
The guy was still a starting goalie, a reputable starting goalie. 902 save average, under 3 goals against average.
But he wasn't a starting goalie.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, he was.
Dude, he played 51 games, 63, 62, 63. So he played 4 years as a starter, and then he didn't play more than 20 the rest of his career.
Dude, he was an all-star in 2008.
Who cares? That's
I
one.
still think
It's still an all-star.
I don't think that belongs in the category of worst number one all picks.
Okay, he was an all-star, but they were 20. They were 26 and 20. He was 26, 28, and 7. So the team probably sucked. They needed an all-star representative.
No, I think in 2008 they didn't have the
assumptions.
one team or a guy from each team.
Dude, I'm telling you, he sucks. Ask any New York
really
Islanders
like that,
fan if
like-
they liked him.
It's an underwhelming career for that contract he got, but like I don't know if that's like getting an all-star nomination like warrants like a bust of a number one overall pick. I would just say that's like a very poor contract, maybe even one of the worst contracts of all time. Not necessarily one of the worst picks of all time.
I consider him a bust.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a bust, but he still like was good when he actually played.
I don't know. It just feels like everyone else we've talked about has been like a bust in that league, like never amounted to anything in that league ever. And like DiPietro, like at least warranted like the earning of that ridiculous contract for some portion of his career.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to go off the board a little bit instead of going with like the basics. My honorable mention was Nail Yakupov.
I read a little bit about that.
I went with Rick DiPietro. I thought it was a little bit more of a bust, but
Whatever happened to Yakupov? Like he had that one like big goal that Don Cherry was flipping out about.
scored
And
30.
then-
He had 31 points in 40 games his first year, and then he was just a bust.
He got traded, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then
He's
he
in-
went back
he's in
to
the
play in
KHL.
Russia.
Yeah, just didn't have a work ethic.
Yeah, that's what they talked about it on Chicklets a couple times. Like, just never found like his in the KHL. He like kind of had everything handed to him per se, I guess, and just like had trouble transitioning to like the game and like the culture in the United States. Okay.
Yeah, there was his teammate on the World Junior team that year, Greg Gorenko. He was also a bust. He was like 10th overall, and he just never amounted to anything.
Well, they say like what did like the rate of return on like a draft pick like severely like 90% drops after guess what pick in hockey?
Or
2.
yeah, it's like any draft. It's like the NBA. You don't have a
NBA's
top
only
five
Oh,
pick.
the
rounds,
NBA is
though.
even worse, I would think.
Yeah,
Like you could like the number 2 overall player in a given draft could be just like a 7th man for his whole career, just like a decent 7th man. Like Lonzo Ball. Lonzo
the
Ball, a
MLB
great 6th man, but he went number 2
MLB having a
overall.
top the MLB having a top pick means nothing because like it's just all like, are you hot or are you cold once you start hitting? And then NFL is like you're comparing apples to oranges when you look at position by position. Like every team has different needs. As for like
Yeah.
the NHL, you're looking for a goal scorer. Basically, if you take a forward first round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, you're right. I'm just saying, like in hockey, they say after the second pick, there's a huge drop off in rate of return for a pick. Who you're picking or what you're picking. You can go through like I could give you a given year, like I'll give you a random year draft, and you can I bet you that would be the case. Like NHL draft.
1994, 1993,
Do something of like this like generation. So, like,
Yeah,
2002.
Dude, something we'll remember. We were 3 years old then.
do like 2010.
Taylor Hall, Tyler Sagan,
See,
first 2. Eric Goodbarnson, never heard of him.
Branson.
I don't
we're
know.
looking at
Yeah, Goodbranson.
Sagan, and Taylor Hall, who's won an MVP, and then not much after that.
Ryan Johan
Skinner,
was 4th. Nino
Tarasenko.
Niederreiter was 5th. Jeff
Tarasenko,
Skinner, 7th.
16.
You guys are saying the same, like saying names at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know who's saying what, but I've heard.
Cam Fowler was 12th. Evgeny Kuznetsov was 26.
Cam Fowler's an Olympian. Kuznetsov's an Olympian.
Tarasenko, 16.
I would take. Never mind. I wouldn't take that.
Riley Sheehan, 21 to Detroit.
Scored the last ever goal at Joe Louis Arena. Not a big deal.
He scored 2 goals that season, and both of them were in the last game.
Yeah, saved himself.
And then he got traded the next, or not re-signed. Yeah, he got traded right away.
Good on that. Good on rankings.
Yeah.
All right, let's do mock draft now. Today's mock draft, we're gonna do biggest wide receiver divas in the NFL.
We're just basically like drafting everyone this episode.
Yeah, I
ranking
mean,
people.
like at this point, like in the quarantine, like wasting my time just consuming garbage media. Since there's no balls to watch, like move back and forth over a screen these days, like arguing over lists and creating lists to argue off of is like all we have, and is like all we can talk about in sports. So that's kind of like
I feel like you've watched a lot of balls on your screen this break.
good one.
Thanks.
So in today's mock draft, we're gonna do biggest wide receiver divas in all time. We'll do our usual take 3 snake draft pick. I'm gonna start since you guys have started on the other 2 today. I'm gonna start with Antonio Brown, probably the most basic one you can
It's a
go.
safe pick.
Where was that coming from?
I don't
thought he
think
was
you
a
could get
normal
any
dude.
crazier than Antonio Brown. Personally, I think he's a 1. And in terms of this category, he's a 1-1, round 1, pick 1 pick. And, yeah, the shit with the cops, the domestic abuse. You're looking at a Hall of Fame receiver that nobody can even tolerate to be on a roster right now. That's how bad he is. So I think he well warrants a first-round first pick. Nick, you go second.
I'm going to. Okay. So with the second overall pick, Nick selects a man who has 2 names, Chad Johnson / Chad Ochocinco.
Great pick. I have that.
Thank you.
Too. Great.
You don't see people change their last name to Ochocinco.
Yeah.
The guy was a walking highlight reel. This video of him mic'd up is so funny.
Yeah, I was just gonna
It's like
say
throwing to me
that.
during practice. No one's around. It's like in the game too. How's 24? Is any good? No, he sucks. Oh, I'm just asking. No, he sucks.
If you want entertainment of him, you ever seen the My Cribs on Barstool? Like
No.
they like do on YouTube, just like a My Cribs, or like Cribs, like Celebrity Cribs or something for Barstool, and they do one at Ocho Cinco, and he's in like a robe as this like Barstool chick, has him tour the house with her, and like he's like in a robe smoking a cigar the whole time, and is just saying the most spontaneous things, like trying to get her to laugh, and she's like who's this old freak? It's super, super entertaining, and it speaks to why Ocho Cinco is a first-round pick. Very good. Easton?
I'm going with Terrell Owens.
Good one. On my list as well.
There's shake. What did he do? Shake pom poms. We pulled out a Sharpie the one time after he scored a touchdown.
Yep.
Was it? Did he do the stripper dance on the field goal pole?
No.
Who was that?
Randy Moss.
Yeah. And then
Joe Buck said it was a disgusting act.
Yeah. This the one thing I read, apparently when he was in San Francisco, to the media, he called his quarterback Jeff Garcia gay.
I think you're missing his best moment. His best moment is when he ran and like did the thing on the Cowboys logo.
Oh, when he spiked the ball twice. He did that twice.
And got like rocked.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite Terrell Owens. That's definitely a good pick. Good pick. Second round, I'm gonna go Plexico Burress, a Michigan State grad. I think the one story that I'm gonna say in Plexico and that kind of sums him up is that he shot himself.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. I mean, that's a dream, right? He went to jail for shooting himself.
Yeah. I don't think it gets any more prima donna than accidentally shooting yourself and then coming back and trying to play an NFL career. Like, how could you look yourself in the eye? How could you go to like a locker room full of like big buff like NFL football players and try to be taken seriously after that? And he did, and he tried to. And good on Plexico. Go green.
Go ahead.
Thanks.
All right, with the 5th overall pick, I'm gonna go with between two players. I'm gonna take. I think one's gonna be around later, so I'm gonna take OBJ now. I mean, the guy
Okay.
is just a diva.
See, I
He's a
would
stud,
argue
but he's
that
a diva.
he shouldn't belong in this list.
How?
I
Dude,
think
he
he's done
punched.
better.
He's gotten better, but I mean,
He's gotten
he
better.
punched a net. He wore like what, a $10,000 watch on his wrist during a football game.
That was
300.
That was
The whole
awesome.
Jalen Ramsey stuff was really bad too.
And Josh Norman.
Yeah,
Was
he
that
rips
your
on
pick?
Eli Manning in the media. Baker Mayfield didn't do him much.
No, he's gotten better up until he was doing really well up until the LSU where he just was handing out money.
All right, well, he's also on the field every game saying, "Come trade for me, come get me." Dude,
Yeah.
you can't at least
Yeah.
pretend you want to be on your team.
Okay. Sure. Easton, second round pick.
I mean, I just said it. I'm gonna go Randy Moss.
Okay, I like it.
The dancing on the field goal pole. I mean, busted with marijuana several times.
Yeah,
Just
he's an interesting one because a lot of his divaness was. I mean, I guess you could say that all because actually all of these players have been actually like really good receivers, but like his was like that like strut your stuff like I'm like swagger to his game like kind of thing more than like him just being like an Antonio Brown psychopath.
yeah.
But I do agree that he was a diva. I mean, you have to be somewhat of a diva to be good at the position. I think is what we're kind of learning through this.
Yeah.
So third round, back to me, is I'm going with Des Bryant.
I thought that was who was going to be left. I was going to draft him last round. I thought he'd be sitting around for this round.
I was gonna go Des Bryant next too.
Other than the fact, I think he's worse than Plaxico.
That was a beautiful note you hit.
Yeah. I was singing you a song while I made a decision in my head. I really do think he's probably the worst receiver that we've named yet, like skill wise, stat wise.
Yeah, and the thing is, he was pretty big for a while. He led the league in touchdowns a couple
No,
years.
he was. I just always hated him so much that like I just refused to believe he was good. Maybe, even if he was putting up numbers. But my favorite, like Des Bryant, is like as a Lions fan, the pick up the flag pass interference
When he ran on the field without the helmet on.
Yeah, when he came on the field without the helmet on. I don't think like I'll ever like remember a play that he made like actually on the field distinctly because that memory just trumps all else in my head. And that like he got away with that without being flagged and got the call out of it. Like I'll just never like that's how I'll like remember. You say Des Bryant and I'll go, oh, that stupid idiot that did that, like ran on the field and got the call.
Connor, that stupid idiot that shat himself at Best Buy.
Tis I.
All right, with my pick, I'm going to take someone who you guys are going to totally disagree with right now. Give it 3 years, and you'll be like, Nick's a genius. Stephon Diggs.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Dude, that guy's – they lost – who they beat? The Saints, and he was mad they won because he didn't get the ball enough and was like, I want to trade. In the playoffs, he was like, I want to trade next year. Dude, I don't care if you –
He got traded.
Yeah, exactly. The guy's an idiot.
Watch the 96 questions on YouTube. It's like, forget who it is. It's one of their like veteran like defensive
Number 96.
It is. Like I forget the name though.
Everson
and,
Griffin.
They'll go around and like what?
Is it Everson Griffin?
No.
Daniil Hunter.
It's a white guy.
Oh.
It's but he goes around the locker room and like does like a silly questionnaire and like does a bunch of different questions as a thing and like every single one. There's one where like it's like who would you not want to date your sister, and every single one of them says Stephon Diggs, and then they just say why, and he says because he's Diggs, and like that is a perfect representation of like a diva. So I agree. Good pick.
Thank you.
This one, probably one of my favorite wide receivers of all time. But it's more as a diva role. I'm saying more like as in like cocky and stuff. Deshaun Jackson.
No, that's a good one. Yeah.
I like it.
Why is your
I don't know, because honestly, you took my Des Bryant, so I was looking up guys to say, and I thought of him, and then like him, like in the what was it, all American Army bowl or not bowl game, but high school game, and then other times where he's just running into the touchdown, just throws the ball backwards before he even crosses a touchdown.
I like when he did the
against the
death drop in the end zone.
Yeah, that's against the Redskins, right?
And Cowboys.
I'm not sure, but yeah, when
They played the Giants, he scored that game-winning punt return touchdown, and
yeah, he ran
across. Yeah,
yeah. They asked him why he did it. He goes, "I wanted to make sure the clock was at 0."
Yeah, but the clock was at 0 like by the time he caught it.
Yeah.
Just like the speed of light, like, oh god, it slow down. The whole team went on the field too, and I read somewhere like technically it shouldn't have counted because they had too many men, because they all started rushing the field before he went in the end zone.
Yeah, well, they also shouldn't have punted to him.
You smile at
I don't know. Definitely deserving of a diva. Top 9 list, maybe not. But,
top 9 questionable.
Yeah. All right. I like that list. I think you could build like of at least 5 or 6 names that we said on there are probably like 5 or 6 of the biggest divas in sports. Like
OJ or not OJ, OBJ.
OJ. Whoa. Different category. Diva not, murderer maybe.
He's a diva murderer.
I'd say OBJ and probably Antonio Brown are probably top 2.
Yeah, I guess.
You just said you didn't think OBJ was on the list, Connor, and now you're accepting that it's top 2.
Say. That's why I said I guess. Is like I think OBJ on this list belongs like 7 through 9. 7 through
OBJ,
10.
his like diva role is like just his swag that he brings that's not really accepted.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing if that was Randy Moss 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's why we said Randy Moss, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's like I put that in the same category.
Yeah.
He's just the modern Randy Moss.
Mm-hmm. Not as good.
Who says
Randy
trade
Moss
me?
is a better player. But...
He demands a trade every game.
Yeah, literally.
That's pretty sick.
I mean, I wish I could do that, so. I wish I could demand a trade from like my house right now.
Trade it for like cash considerations. Like, we'll pay you for his food if you let him come here.
Yeah, like it's got to the point where it's like we sit at dinner now and it's like anyone says a word and it's just someone snaps, someone says something snarky back. Yeah, I like make a joke, but I just get even more like roll of the eyes and.
There's nothing to talk about anymore. There's like nothing on TV. There's nothing to do. I can't talk to. Yeah. There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Say, how's your 4 hours of video games go today, Connor? It was like, no one wants to hear about that. That Easton Ray got another concussion and you be a pro mode. Anyways, next segment we got today is Remember When. So, remember when, Easton, go.
Well, I didn't really take this as greatest sports moments, but I took this just like as a remember when, like as in big scenarios and stuff. But I was on Instagram the other day and I came across the Barstool about their whole Boston Marathon manhunt, and so I kind of like started like thinking about that and like reading up on it again. So that was my remember when.
8th grade, Columbus, Ohio, for a baseball tournament. That's where I was when that happened.
I was gonna say I remember where I was too. I was with a friend. We don't name names. In the Zaparo Home Fitness Center, we were working out, and he like turned on his Twitter and like saw it like the notification for it.
Yeah, I remember watching the whole manhunt in my living room, like on the TV live. Yep. When they got him in the boat and stuff. It was just.
And like my cousin was living in Boston at the time, like downtown Boston, and like my mom was like texting my aunt like every like 5 minutes, is he okay? And like my aunt was like, yeah, he's on the complete other side of town that like they're looking at. So, and it's one person, so I think it'll be fine. But I just distinct memory from that also. Nick?
You remember when Alec Martinez scored the game-winning Stanley Cup goal in overtime for the Kings against the Rangers?
Yeah, I remember where I was at.
I do.
That was
at my friend's house.
That was double OT, wasn't it?
I don't remember. It was game 5.
Was it a fluke goal, like a 5-hole goal?
No, it was a rebound.
No, yeah, it was a 3-on-2 rebound.
3-on-2 rebound tap in. It was sick.
Bar pad.
It's Michigan native.
I don't really have like strong memories of that. I do remember like the Kings winning that cup though.
Back when the Kings
Mine
and
was
Blackhawks dominated.
They just
mine
traded
was,
championships
Yeah.
it's sad to see
for 5
that
years.
like the Kings dynasty, like that's kind of over. They suck now. The Blackhawks were good. Their
Wings.
dynasty's over. The Red Wings dynasty is well over. They suck. It's
Penguins is like
the
still
teams
holding
that grew
on.
up that are good. The only team
Who's still
left
holding on?
is-
Penguins, I feel like theirs is coming to an end.
Yeah. I thought you said Red Wings, and I was like, you're an idiot.
No, you're an idiot.
I know. I feel like an idiot now.
The Penguins isn't over yet, but it's on the decline.
Here's one to think about: the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, they made the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah. It's kind of weird to think about. Like that was like 5
The
years
Rangers.
ago,
The Rangers were like first in the league for like 4 or 5 straight years.
when Lundqvist was lights out.
Yeah. And now he's not even gonna have a job. Like they might pay not to have him next year.
They got Martin St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rangers had an interesting run that no one noticed.
That was
Yeah.
Brian Callahan was a stud back then before he went to Tampa.
Yeah.
The stall, which stall did they have?
Mark,
One of the, not
think.
Eric. Eric, not Eric.
Mark was a defenseman. Jordan's
Yeah, I
always
think
on
I think it was Mark.
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah. It was Mark or Jordan.
That whole trade was kind of weird. Like St. Louis got pissed at Yzerman because Yzerman snubbed him for the Olympics or something, right? And then they traded him for Callahan. And who's the one guy who's in that trade? Is it JT Miller?
Yep.
St. Louis ended up making the Olympics though, because I think it was Stamkos got hurt, and he was like the
Yeah.
replacement.
Was that the
Yeah, but
2012
Yzerman was their GM at the time, and he was coaching or the head of the Canadian
He was
Olympic
GM.
team.
Yeah, he's GM for Canadian.
And he kind of snubbed St. Louis, and then Stamkos got hurt, so he had to take St. Louis.
Was that the 2012 Olympics?
That was a Golden Goal Olympics.
So yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
2010.
2010. Yep.
2010 was it? Okay. 2012 would have not been an Olympic game of the winter. Stay hot. So shit show of the day is I'm gonna tell you another silly story of something that's stupid that happened.
What do you remember, Connor?
Oh, did I not say mine?
No, we kind
Oh,
of.
mine was. Do you remember when Joel Zamaya tore like everything in his elbow from playing Guitar Hero?
Yeah, that's BS. That was steroids.
You think so?
Yeah, dude, you don't. If you're in that good of shape, you don't tear your entire arm off.
Look at Joel Zamaya though. He was not in that good of shape.
Dude, he threw 104 miles per hour. He's
He
on
just did.
steroids.
He
He's
was
on
fat.
steroids, dude.
No, I
He's on
disagree.
steroids.
I completely disagree.
Didn't he? He also said he broke his arm riding go-karts. How do you have 2 freak injuries like that?
Teddy Bridgewater almost lost his leg just backpedaling in practice.
That's so much different. Guitar Hero.
Go karts.
Anyways, that dude was like, I was in love with that guy because like, he threw 104 miles an hour, and it was when the Tigers were on the rise, and like when I was getting into baseball and being the baseball nut that I am, like he was my Tiger for a hot sec, and for him to like just go down like that and really never become of anything, was just really sad and really distinct in my memory of sad events, a series of sad events, being a Detroit sports fan.
Straight up.
Next
Connor, you got a
segment.
story for us?
Yep, shit show of the day. I'm gonna tell. I mean, this one's a lot quicker than the last one, but I'm gonna try and make it entertaining. So this happened in like the middle of November. I want to say it was the day we left for Michigan, like to go up to Michigan for the Michigan State game, and I had an 8:30 in Brody. So I was getting up early. I had to go like all the way across campus at Michigan State, and I set my alarm for like 7:30, 7:45. Take a quick shower. If I can get up at 7:30, I'll take a quick shower. Wash my nuts, all that jazz, and get out the door about 7:50 because like there's a bus that comes at 7:55. but like I missed my alarm, and it was like 7:54, and I'm like throwing anything on, like it's like probably like 30 degrees outside, if not, there's snow on the ground.
When do you
And,
take a
like,
dump? Do you take a shit in the morning? Because I'm a morning shitter now, and it's cost me like the bus a couple times.
I only morning shit if I like after a cup of coffee or two. But like, so I didn't that morning. So obviously I didn't have it. I was like sprinting in like shorts and a t-shirt, and like I'm sprinting to the bus, and like I make it, like clearly make it, and like middle of the pack of the line getting on the bus. But like I get in the middle door, like I'm one of like 3 people to get in the middle door, and this asshole bus driver, he goes, like he calls me up to the front. He's like, "Hey, you in the t-shirt?" Like, and I'm like, I look down. I'm like, "Yeah, you're the only fucking idiot wearing a t-shirt in the snow, Connor. It's probably you." And so I walk up, and he's like, "Get off the bus. Like, go through you got to go through the front door. You got to make sure you go through the right door." And I was like, "Okay." And like I was like, "All right, fuck this guy." He's like just trying to play a game with me. I was like, "I'll play along." And like I like hopped off the bus like a bunny, like just went hop like with 2 feet at one time, like laughing and like playing along. And like he's like, and I was like, "Okay." And then I like box jumped back on, like laughed at him. And he's like, "No, like get off the bus. Like I meant you can't ride my bus if you do that." And I was like, I like, didn't really hear him say that. All I heard was like get off. And like I walked, like I looked, like I turned back, and like he shut the door in my face, and like I like kind of like looked there confused, and it was like super like awkward, like 30 seconds of like I just kind of stood there looking at where the bus door would have been as the bus drove off. And, like I turn around, there's a good like 15 to 20 people just like just looking at me like, "Oh my God, this kid is having the worst fucking morning ever." And so instead of going back and like, no, that's instead of going back and like changing, I decided to run 30 minutes all the way through basically every part of campus, like getting like looks everywhere. And I sprinted to a class in the snow in a shorts and t-shirt. So that's your shit show of the day of something that I fucked up.
Do you have that bus driver like afterwards, and he like give you like
No,
weird
I have,
looks?
yeah.
Does he
He
remember
obviously
you?
doesn't remember who I am, but like I see him all the time, and he's an asshole to everybody. So like this man, like clearly is just butthurt that he has to drive around college kids like all day. Like, I mean, I would be too, but like, come on, buddy, like be polite. Like most of them are super nice and like polite, but like this guy, like, no. Like he's an asshole to everybody, and he just made me look like a fucking chump to everybody that was at that bus stop at 7:57 in the morning on
But do you
November
think that
11th.
you played into that by not respecting him and by not wearing a sweatshirt?
Yeah, to be fair, I think he thought I was like mocking him, like by doing the jump. But I was like, I thought he was joking around, like I was. So I was like, oh, I'll joke around back. That made me look even more stupid. Like I looked like a dumb bunny, like just hopping on and off this fucking bus.
There's just one bus driver out there that sees Connor coming. He's like, God, not again.
Not again, not this kid. He's probably gonna shard all over my bus. All right, time for today's debate. So
Why would he think you're gonna shart in his bus? All he did was kick you out. He doesn't know you shat yourself at Best Buy, unless he's a subscriber.
Yeah, what?
Like Connor's got a reputation when he walks around. Like he walks around and people are like, "Oh, it's a kid that shat himself."
I mean, I walk around like I looking like I got eyes in the back of my head because I think like, oh my God, people are gonna like that feeling where you do something stupid and you're like,
Like
oh,
shit yourself at
everyone
Best
here.
Buy.
Well, I mean that, but yeah, but I mean like, oh, everyone like knows that I did it, even though like they're random people, like they have no idea. There's no way they know that. But, like that's how I feel sometimes, and I don't know,
Seems paranoid.
a little bit. Yeah, I guess you could say that. So let's have one last debate. Our debate for today: would you
All right.
rather fuck a goat but nobody knows, or not fuck a goat but everyone thinks you did? Easton, start us off.
I'm not doing it. Everyone can think what they want, but I know right here that I didn't do it.
This is kind of like what we had last time, but a little different. But I do respect that a lot. But
Sounds like you wouldn't do it.
I would
No, there's a
fuck the
but.
goat. I would fuck the goat if no one were to know.
Dude, do you think you could actually do it though? Like, I would not, because like at some point people are just gonna like ignore it and it'll go away. And, like, maybe I have to change my name and move towns, but like I'm gonna find people who don't know about it. But like, Connor's just gonna find some random barn and walk in. Like, how's it gonna work? You gonna take her on a date? Is it a him?
So all right, so then I'll change my answer because
No.
it's all about do you think like can you live your life like having people look at you that way? And
Yeah,
like
can you live your
I'm-
life looking at yourself that way? Like, yeah, got laid a couple months
Actually,
ago.
that's
What was your
very
name?
true.
Billy
In
Bob.
fact, I'm gonna change my answer off of that. That's true because I think it'd be harder to live with the internal thing that you like fucked like a hideous animal than like having the internal thing that like like you didn't do it. The
Do
only
you think
like
girls would feel that way when they sleep with you? They fucked a hideous animal.
no, that's what they say after they fuck Easton.
What did I do?
I won.
I don't know. You looked innocent over there.
Yeah, he's not
I
hideous.
was just humming on the weak.
You're the
Man,
one
this
who wants
angle
to-
you're in makes me think that you might be the hideous animal. You've been you're holding it like beneath your face the whole time, so it's like up your nose. Yeah, that's way less hideous.
Sorry.
It's still hideous, but not as hideous.
So are we closing this debate as we would not fuck the goat and everyone?
We would
thought we
collectively not, but Connor would think about it.
I
I would
would
consider
You're
it.
talking- You would?
No, you would. You already said you would originally.
Yeah,
I would.
your gut
I would-
instinct was to do it, and that's like how I'm gonna look at you from here on out.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
I can't pass up an opportunity, man.
No,
Yeah,
what's
myself
good
at
to
Best
know?
Buy.
Shut
Just don't
up.
come around very often. Connor would probably love to live in a barn so he can shit himself like a goat can.
You know what? You have the biggest forehead I've ever seen. So shut up,
Hey,
Jimmy.
Connor,
Neutron.
you got a brown spot in your ass. Why don't you jump
Wait,
off
let's
the bus
move
and fix
on.
it?
All right. This is not how we should
Have
end an
a
episode.
fart. This is what?
This is not how we should end an episode.
We still have some more stuff
We
to
have a
talk about.
challenge.
No, we have a challenge for the next episode, which is tomorrow.
Okay.
So Easton, your challenge is how many push-ups can Easton do in a row? So this is like not stopping, like fully up, like okay. By not stopping, I mean like you can't like go on your knees, but like it's like you like go down and then you have to like lock out at the top. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
like
I
a
know what
school like
push-ups
a
are.
school push-up, like a high school push-up.
I think Easton knows how to do push-ups.
No, I'm saying okay.
How many? What?
So
Just start
what are we
roasting
putting
me.
the over under at, Easton? How many do you think you can do? We'll start there.
Oh, well, I haven't really been working out much in quarantine, so I feel like 35 is a strong number. I don't really know because I don't really do a whole lot of push-ups.
My number was 33.
I think 32 and a half should be our over under.
Over.
Over as well.
Well, I'm saying over.
So set it at what Easton thinks. Set it at 35. Over
Okay.
under.
It's for you guys to decide.
I still think over. I think you can get 40.
I think under. I think 33. And I think he might be able to cheat his way through a couple. But I want to see like the form and stuff.
I feel like I'm going to get to like 32, 33, be like really gas, and be like, all right, I want to get my 35 and just kind of have a little internal.
That's how my
Yeah.
run was. I got to 3 miles. I was like, I should just stop. And I was like, I kind of want to do it though, just so that Easton has to run 2 miles. You can run your 2 miles after you do your push-ups.
It
Yeah.
would be a good workout for you.
If I do 35, Nick
You
has to
weren't
run
working out much
2
during
miles.
quarantine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, I ran 5 miles.
Doesn't matter. That's your punishment.
And Connor has to run 4.
No.
Why?
Because I said so.
Kind of still has a shotgun to bang.
I do.
Connor has to do a bang mile. He has to drink a bang, run a lap, shotgun another bang, run another lap, shotgun another bang, run another
I
lap.
would die of a heart attack
Yeah, but at least you wouldn't have to shit
after the
yourself.
second one.
Yeah, all right, Connor has to purposely piss his pants. Just to sit in his bathroom wearing khakis and purposely piss his pants.
No.
Yes. Easton said so. Easton, stop at 1.
What is Easton's punishment again?
Nothing. He's doing the push-ups.
Oh, this is the push-up punishments.
Yeah.
What is yours?
Unless you want to do it for fun.
What's yours?
Run 2 miles.
Oh, I want that too.
No.
Connor, I've seen you run. You can do 2 miles easy.
Oh, I can't.
Connor, I've seen you. I've heard that you can shit yourself. Prove you can piss yourself.
Connor has to pee himself.
You just stand in the,
I'm not doing that.
put a camera in your shower, stand in the bathtub, and just sit there and
All right,
try
Connor.
to piss.
Connor, you gotta jump.
Wearing
into
gray
your
sweatpants, and I want to see it go down your leg.
Connor, you have to jump into your full bathtub, fully clothed.
Or piss
That's
yourself.
pretty bad. That's pretty bad too.
Piss yourself,
Okay.
man. Do it.
That's it. That's
Do
if you
it.
get less than 35. Dude, you're gonna purposely do like 12 push-ups.
Yeah, Easton, there's no way you
If you
can
get a
lose with
number
this.
lower than 30, I'm not doing it.
Stop at 30. All right, if
I
he
want
gets
a
to
video.
30,
I want a
if he
video.
gets to 30 and does less than 35, you have to piss yourself.
No, Nick.
Under
What?
30, you
You
have
do
to get in the bathtub fully clothed.
You have to take a shower with wow.
Deal.
He does
That's
that.
Utility Players Podcast. We'll catch you next time.